The hammer and sickle, a symbol that once struck fear, hope, and revolution across the globe. But what secrets lie behind this emblem of the Soviet Union? Was it simply a sign of unity or something far more powerful? Every banner bears the emblem, every uniform shows the emblem. This was more than just a parade, it was a powerful piece of political theater. It was an image crafted to inspire, to unite, and to declare a radical break from the past. For millions, it represented a promise of a future free from exploitation. The flag was not merely a piece of cloth, it was a declaration of intent, a visual manifesto that fluttered over 1/6 of the Earth's landmass. Its presence was a constant reminder of the state's ideology, from the grandest public squares to the smallest factory lapel pins, weaving itself into the very fabric of daily life for generations. The power of this symbol was rooted in its simplicity. The year 1917 was a whirlwind of chaos and change. The centuries-old Tsarist regime had crumbled. Russia was in the throes of revolution. In this crucible of political upheaval, the Bolsheviks knew they needed more than policies. They needed powerful symbols to rally the masses. The task fell to artists and designers caught up in revolutionary fervor. It had to be simple, memorable, and steeped in the ideology of the proletariat. Initial proposals were varied, some even suggested a sword. Lenin rejected the sword. He wanted symbols of constructive labor and peace, not conquest. Other ideas included a hammer, or a plow. But the plow felt too archaic, tied to pre-industrial ways. The revolution was meant to modernize, the symbol had to reflect that. The breakthrough came from the artist Yevgeny Kamzolkin. In 1918, while creating a May Day design, he conceived the pairing. He crossed a hammer with a sickle, a visual metaphor for worker-peasant alliance. It was meant to represent the urban factory workers and the rural peasants. It captured the political bedrock of the new Soviet state. Its choice was also political in what it excluded. No symbol for the bourgeoisie, bankers, merchants, branded class enemies, no representation for the clergy or aristocracy. It declared the state belonged to the toilers, a simple design with a clear political message. Beyond the hammer and sickle, two other components mattered: the red star and the color red. The five-pointed red star often topped the emblem, and the crimson flag carried meanings older than 1917. The color red traced back to the French Revolution, the blood of martyrs, a visceral symbol of sacrifice and struggle. For the Bolsheviks, it represented the blood of the working class. Officially, the star's points represented the workers' hand and the continent's. It symbolized international ambition, a global revolution, a beacon guiding humanity to a classless dawn. It also carried military connotations, the Red Army's insignia, tasked with defending the revolution from enemies. The 5 points joined together into an unbreakable whole. As fame grew, so did theories about ancient or secret meanings. Some pointed to visual similarities with Freemasonry tools. While no concrete link exists, the resonance fueled suspicion. Another macabre reading links the sickle to the Grim Reaper, not just harvest, but a symbol of death for some critics. After famines, purges, and executions, critics saw the symbol as tragically fitting, a symbol of creation and of destruction, turning a promise of life into a reminder of loss. A darker reading forever changed its meaning for many. Symbols carry layers, official and hidden. Once adopted, the hammer and sickle became the centerpiece of a vast propaganda machine. It was emblazoned on everything imaginable: front pages, film posters, books, pamphlets, a constant presence. It appeared on papers like Pravda and Izvestia, on film posters and book covers, stamped on machinery, woven into textiles, printed on matchboxes and dinner plates. The aim? Create an immersive ideological environment, heroic imagery, workers raising hammers, peasants with sickles, the emblem as a radiant sun over achievements, dams, factories, harvests. It permeated schools, uniforms, military badges, forging collective identity. Mass rallies reinforced the sense that individual identity was secondary to the state. A mosaic of peoples turned into a unified Soviet citizenry. The symbol spread far beyond Soviet borders, adopted by parties and liberation movements from China to Cuba and beyond. China initially used it. Cuba, Vietnam, African movements displayed it as solidarity. In the West, it was cast as a threat, the emblem of an evil empire. Its meaning depended on which side of the Iron Curtain you stood. For anti-colonial fighters, it symbolized liberation and Soviet support, a global brand for revolution. uniting disparate movements under a single banner, rivaled only by the swastika and the cross in recognizability. For many revolutionaries, it was a promise of solidarity. It became one of the most famous and contentious political symbols in history. With the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the flag was lowered for the last time. It marked the end of an era. In many nations, the symbol was quickly outlawed. Public display became a criminal offense in some places, equated with the swastika. Decades of occupation, repression, and secret police left deep scars. Banning it was a way to reclaim history and break with an oppressive past. Yet the symbol did not disappear. It remains in use by parties in India, Greece, Russia, and elsewhere. Often displayed by those nostalgic for perceived stability and power. It survives in state emblems in places like Transnistria and in party flags elsewhere. It even turned up in Western fashion, t-shirts, caps, and ironic graphics. Sometimes political, more often provocative, reduced to a graphic. For some, it is a symbol of hope, economic justice, and worker solidarity. For others, it is a symbol of oppression, gulags, and mass suffering, caught between utopia and terror, promise versus historical reality. Its meaning today is not fixed, a contested space of memory and politics. Debates rage. Is it hope or oppression? A symbol that provokes memory, nostalgia, outrage, or solidarity. A simple hammer and sickle became one of the most powerful symbols in human history. For some, it was a promise of equality. For others, a mark of tyranny. But its secret power lies in its ability to outlive the empire it once represented. The Soviet Union is gone, but the hammer and sickle endures.